Cut it, 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 cut it.
Hello everyone, this is Sam Hill, host of How I Came Up. We have another amazing entrepreneur this week, Sean, the Major League Barber. He's an HBCU alum, he has 2 shops, he's also a certified teacher working with the state. I can't wait for you guys to hear his story. Now let's get to it. This is How I Came Up.
My name is Sean Thompson, and I'm from Buffalo, New York. My childhood, I grew up in Buffalo, New York. You know, my childhood was fun. It was good, man. You know, I got, loving parents. You know, my mother and my father, they weren't married. You know, I grew up with my grandmother. My mother moved away to Texas when I was in high school, but nevertheless, a nice, loving household. Grew up going to a lot of Catholic schools. The schools, they seem to close down every 2 years for some odd reason. So I migrated from one Catholic school to another Catholic school. And then ultimately I didn't like a Catholic school. And when I got to 7th grade, I went to a public school and then went to McKinley High School. And from there, went to college, went to Morehouse, and somehow fell into the barbering industry. My college experience shaping me definitely. I learned a lot. I was exposed to Blacks in a different way. Obviously coming from Buffalo, having our little quadrant of the city, being exposed to Blacks on a national level, coming from different parts of the country, especially some affluent Blacks, coming from some prestigious backgrounds. I learned a lot about us. I learned a lot about our inter-racism. I learned a lot about our prosperity. I learned a lot about our gumption. I learned a lot about business. Definitely learned a lot about business going there, which still transfers into what I do today. And I had some really good college years, and it's rather ironic. I went to school and fell into learning how to cut hair because I got one bad haircut in college. So I can definitely say moving away, getting one bad haircut the first time caused me to want to learn how to do it on my own. And then from there on, I end up cutting a couple guys on campus, and we'll talk a little bit later on about that too.
I'm joined by Benny the Butcher.
This is D from the Projects.
Rick G.
Dr. Kelly Bucci.
Hey, what's up, Mr. D. Wilson?
It's Michelle Visa.
Omni Star Muhammad.
TJ Iceberg.
This is How I Came Up.
This is How I Came Up.
And this is How I Came Up.
How you doing? My name is Sam Hill, host of How I Came Up. Do you have a success story that you would like to share with the world? If so, please go to ScoBlueTV.com and submit that story. And just maybe we'll allow you to share that story with the rest of the world.
What made me do what I wanted to do professionally is, in school, it's funny, I wanted to learn how to cut hair just to learn how to cut my own hair. I got one bad haircut down there, literally was about to cry, had to lift my head up, had the tears, the whole nine. And ultimately I said, well, I don't know anybody. I went to an all-boys school, and I said, I'm gonna learn how to cut my own hair. So ultimately I was cutting my own hair, and 2 guys from my dorm, this is really the funny part, but this is really serious though. 2 guys from my dorm, this was on a Wednesday night, I had to study for a test, Tuesday night, I had to study for a test Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. And these two guys used to see me cut my hair in the bathroom, and they wanted to get a haircut. And one of them weren't even all the way around, but another guy wanted to fade. And I told the guy with the fade, I didn't really know how to fade. He said, whatever, he can see me doing a little bit in the bathroom, but I wasn't really fading my hair, just a little wave cut, keeping myself neat. So nevertheless, the guys, what reeled me in was I was hungry, like literally hungry. I spent all my money that I had, that my parents gave me for my care package. I didn't have any more money in my account. I wasn't hungry, a little tired. And they said they both will pay me $5 each. and that's $10 in college. And this was I graduated McKinley in '89, so this is my freshman year. So just say this is early '90s. So I'm being hungry, and also knowing that instantly, I said, well, if I can cut his hair, I got some crash test dummies who don't care. Ultimately, and they didn't care, and they were paying me. So I'm not crazy. So, I cut their hair. It took me forever to cut the guy who wanted to fade. Trust me, it wasn't sweet. He didn't care. Little country dude. He was happy, but after a while, we nevertheless, we all fostered a relationship. But then I went and got a meal, played a little pool, resumed my studies and prepared for class. But that was the turning point where it turned into a business from just wanting to learn how to cut my own hair. Because afterwards now, I would practice on them, and then other people would see me, and then other people. And that was the beginning. And it was never hard for me to get customers, even then. And even to this day, it's not difficult.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
The story of House of Masters. I wanted a house full of master barbers. I wanted a house full of masters. And it wasn't at the time, it wasn't a shop that large in the Black community. When I opened up, it was 9 of us in there. It wasn't a shop that large. A lot of things for barbering that I feel blessed about. Like I said, I'm a reference guy, man. There's a lot of number ones, but there's only one first. A lot of things that came my way in this, I feel blessed to say I've been the first. So when it came to the House of Masters, Mr. J was tired of being in the barbering game, and he sat us all down. All of us, we used to have monthly meetings. He sat all the barbers down, and he told us what he was going to do. But at the time, I was on the verge of going to go get my own. I wanted to service both sides of the city. I wanted to be somewhere around Elmwood, somewhere around the colleges. I wanted to be on the, servicing the east side and the west side. But in time, Jay said something to me. I worked with some other barbers that I thought may have wanted to jump on the opportunity, and they were there before me. So I wouldn't, just throw my bid out there knowing that they had tenure, they were there longer. So ultimately, Mr. J, which was the owner of Mr. J's, told me that nobody said anything. So we sat down and we talked about some things. And then I wasn't going for the initial figure, but at the time I was naive. I didn't understand a lot of things about a turnkey operation, which that was. I'm looking at more of the furniture. I'm looking at more of the, equipment. And I'm like, it's looking to, need to spend a little money on. It's been worn, but I didn't really understand what the turnkey operation meant. I didn't really understand that when I bought House of Masters and my name on January 1st, 1999, at the following week, I was getting a bigger check. I was making more money, like instantly. I mean, I felt it instantly because before I was just cutting hair, and now I'm cutting hair, and I'm getting rent from 8 other barbers. So I'm like, it's not going to take me that long for me to get my bread back from what I spent. And that was, at the time I thought that's what the highest level was in barbering, but at the time I still didn't care about barbering. I just looked at it as another way of just having a money stream. I didn't really seed into the industry. I seeded into the business, but I didn't seed into the industry. I didn't see the difference. I seen the barbers as, I'm wrenching chairs. I got 8 barbers and 1 hot water tank. That's sweet. But after a while, like anything, everybody wants more. And then when you start getting exposed, the biggest thing that caused me to transition also is House of Masters, and I feel blessed that my name is spoken, still being in the industry this long, is traveling. I had to meet other people in my industry that made me feel uncomfortable. I started meeting people, Sam, that were younger than me that were at a higher level than me, and I was like, I got to be around these people so I can find out what they're doing, so I can do something else. But then I started meeting other barbers, and I started meeting people that were similar to myself. I started meeting people that I can identify with, that were doing different things in different cities, and I was like, well, why can't I do that here? So the biggest thing that's helped House of Masters grow is me traveling, seeing other people, and also let's just say this, taking a leap on a business I really didn't want to buy, on a business that I didn't understand what a turnkey operation is. But I know one thing, the name, when it popped up in my brain, I was going to call it I remember one time I was going to call it the blow up spot. That wouldn't have been a cool name. So House of Masters, and here in Buffalo, well, here in New York, you have apprentice barbers and master barbers. In most parts of the country, you're just a master barber. But a House of Masters, I thought that was legit because I had a house full of master barbers where everybody was licensed. There's a lot of unlicensed and illegal shops here. So that was one thing that's always been around, your real shops, licensed shops, and your trap shops. So that's what's up.
Knowing that other people can't buy it. Everybody wants something exclusive, so why would you be an exclusive barber? Why you want to be an average barber? Why you want to be a 99%er? You want to be a 1%er? I would have somebody tell me I charge too much money, I'm expensive, but I'm booked on that. You cutting 10 heads and I'm cutting 5 heads, and I get more bread than you do. I think I'm winning.
The group I'm in, Major League Barbers, is based out of Philadelphia. There's a gentleman, Nori West. He's been in the industry since '96, and what it is we're education promotion team. We promote shows across the country. So I actually promote a show here in Buffalo, New York. I've been doing for 4 years, and I promote one in Houston, Texas. It would have been my second year, but because of COVID. And what I do is I bring educators from different parts of the country, and I fly them in to teach various techniques on hair or on finances or on business. I have people showcase. I have vendors come retailing products. I have companies come in retailing their whatever. And I actually have barber competitions. And that's the dope part. The barber competitions I'll have one competition to be the best fading style. Another one will be a freestyle design, which people really enjoy. They like to watch that. Also, we have the fastest fade on earth. You got 15 minutes to do the fastest, cleanest fade on earth, man, and you see some really dope stuff. God has blessed me, man. I give away my last show. I rented out Seneca Niagara Casino right up there in the falls. I rented that out, and last year I gave away 5-foot trophies, and gave away 3 brand new barber chairs, fresh out the box. I've competed in freestyle designs and traditional design competitions across the country, and it's dope, man. It was cool. At first, it was a little scary, but I wanted to level up. Once again, I made a commitment. So, what God says, if you're going to do it, go all the way. No plan, make a full commitment. So I committed, and ever since I made the commitment, now I've learned that I can be the businessman that I want to be, and I know I'm not going to die behind a chair. I know I can still help people, and I know there's still more to come because there's still other layers of this.
It's the first day of barber school today. About to head on a class, go get these students ready. Major League Barber, we out here building better barbers. We out in the classroom, we everywhere. Coming to a city near you. Right now, Sean Dawn, master maker, about to get them done. Oh, yo, my collar ain't right.
What made me become serious about barbering is I had a discussion with an older client of mine, and he's been with me for a long time. And his name is Mr. Van, and I told him I'm always going to speak his name because he is instrumental in my journey. So I'm telling Mr. Van candidly, I said, Mr. Van, these people want me to teach school, man. I don't really care about teaching school. I want to stay home. My son's about to go away to college. This is when he's still at home, about to go away. And I was like, I just wanted to stay at home. So ultimately, talking with this older gentleman, this is so funny, Sam. This is what he said. I'm serious. He said, well, Sean, a lot of things come your way. He said, I've been dealing with you a long time. And I know one thing, ain't nobody gonna box you in. I said, you damn right, ain't nobody boxing me in, bro. See, my biggest thing is I'm not dying behind a barber chair. And we're gonna talk about that too, because I've seen something early in this industry, how people don't escape from this industry if you're not prepared. But ultimately, when I made that decision to become an instructor, that's when I put my hands up. I started to know, I'm into photography. I've always liked that. That goes into my industry, multimedia, photography and video. So dealing with that, as I made the commitment, it seemed like everything fell into place. So in a nutshell, within the last 10 years, well, less than 10 years, 8 years really, because this is my 8th year teaching coming up now. It was a pilot program. Now it was a waiting list up until COVID, no waiting list. All right. Was a pilot program. Now it's a successful program. I also have 2 of my students that are assistants of mine in the program. I became an examiner for the state, the Proctor Barber exams. Then I became a supervisor for the state, 1 out of the 5 here in New York State. Opened up another shop, commission shop, not a rent-based shop. We'll talk about that, how that's a different side of the industry. Ever since I put my hands up, bro, this has been real dope. So now I've learned, I've been published in a national magazine, international. So, and right now what I'm working on is making one of my shops a state board site, the Proctor Barber exams. So this is what's been going on in the last 8 years since I've been committed.
Good morning, everybody. One thing that I know for a fact, every single time that'll make you feel good is to get a dope haircut. Come to one of my locations, 295 East Delavan, Buffalo, New York. Bunch of barbers here to take care of you. If you see one of these flyers, you get a discount on any one of the services. Peace.
If you notice in my industry, most self-employed people, majority of them haven't created a vehicle of the way out. They've created a job for themselves. They're thinking they're smarter than the owner. So in turn, they'll go create their own business or put their own twist on it. But what they've done is actually created a chain for themselves. They haven't created a business with them not being in mind for them not to be there. So in my industry specifically, notice that barbers, cosmetologists don't, specifically black barbers and cosmetologists, they end up dying behind the chair. So what we've seen is time and time again, a barber or cosmetologist not necessarily fades out of the industry, they just fade away. They haven't created enough income or the system correct enough for them to exit the industry. So they can still love the business, but I don't care how much you love the business when your hip hurting, your back hurting, your knee hurting, you've been standing behind a chair 30, 40 years, whatever. Yeah, you can love it. I love my customers too, but I don't want that to be my primary source of income. I prefer to cut hair for the love and enjoyment, really because of my clients, really because I know that a lot of blessings have come through my clients through me networking, but I don't want that to be my primary source of income. So one thing I've done is, saying my other shop is I've created a commission-based shop, which is a totally different structure than the rent-based shops where 90% of black shops are commission or are rent-based, where you have more white shops or other cultures that run more on a commission or an hourly, and different structures of your business is a vehicle for you to not die behind the chairs. So this is one thing I do is I talk to my students also as I'm talking for Major League or whatever company is, strategies on not to die behind a chair, bro. This is $100,000 a year business, and there's no way you can't, especially in this broke time, you can get $100 grand standing behind a chair, charging $25 a head, cutting 2 heads an hour at $50 a pop, 40 hours a week. That's $2,000, bro. Times 52 weeks, that's $104,000. No tip. So all you got to do is get your clientele and maintain your clientele. So I know I put a lot into that right there, but still everything I reference to in my industry is about business, because a lot of people talk about cutting hair. Who really cares if you can cut hair? The key is to service the client. And if you understand why you're there, you'll get paid, not just make money. Because what I've noticed in any business, it doesn't matter. You don't have to create anything. If you can improve on it marginally or solve a problem, people are going to adapt to that. And it will gravitate. So what I've seen early in this industry, and just being time orientated. One thing that they did teach us at Morehouse was to be on time is to be late. In business, that's very big. And that's, I don't deal with CP time, bro. I don't mess with that. I deal with business time, and it's only one way, and business is what it is. So I've always been what I've noticed and what has made me successful in my industry. Obviously, you got to know how to cut hair. Bam, whoa, bam. You got to check that off. You know what I'm saying? But what I've noticed is if you're going to work under appointments, and during my industry, during my time, a lot of barbers didn't work on appointments. In my era, that's when they began to. A lot of barbers previously didn't do that. It was more of a first come, first serve, had to wait there all day. Some dudes still got appointments and got to wait there all day. Leave that alone. Run your chair any way you want. That's your own individual business. But at the end of the day, what has made me successful, and since you harped on that time, is people pay for time. And if you work on appointments, you honor people's appointment. Simple as that. So my niche in this industry is time. People aren't coming to Sean because I cut hair well. What I tell people when I'm traveling across the country, what I tell my students, when I tell people in my industry, is I sell time. I don't sell haircuts. Yes, I'm here to provide a service for my clients, but ultimately I sell time. And if you want to get in my time, it's no problem. Because if you're younger, nobody likes to wait. I have my own app. You ain't even got to talk to me. You can just book on the app, pay up front. Everybody gets reminders. At the end of the day, you in and out, you can chill, whatever you want to do. But ultimately, what has made me successful is if you're going to reserve a time, be prepared for the reservation. Whatever words you want to use, you reserve that time. I need to be prepared for your reservation. If you're late, if we have no contact, I'm not waiting on you, because you can't encroach on somebody else's time. It's very important for you to have a positive circle of influence, whatever you're doing. What you're doing, Sam, what the producer of the show is doing. We always have to be around somebody that's at a higher level than us and be around people with positive circles of influence. So that's critical to seek that, and, to have somebody that you can really have confidence in, to have a candid conversation with. My name is Sean Thompson. Yo, this is how I came up.
Hello everyone, this is Sam Hill, the Career Change Guru, and this November is Entrepreneur Month. We are going to celebrate and showcase some entrepreneurs from Buffalo to Atlanta. You're going to hear the stories of hair professionals, influencers, entertainers, and lifestyle experts. Now let's get to it. This is how I came up.